observers is a reasonable way, to act in that situation?
No, I hear your point. I just tell you as an election official how I heard it was directed at election officials. I disagree strongly with bullying observers. I said many times during the recount we just did for 9 days that there's no point having a recount if the observers can't see the ballots, if they can't see the envelopes. And I think, we worked really hard to make sure that the observers could see everything. We tried to, make sure everything was respectful. That transparency of being able to be in the polling place, at the canvass, at the recount, the point of that is to instill confidence in our election system. And I just, so no, I agree with you, and I will take that as what you meant.
Mr. McDonald,
a long day of beating on election officials.
I'd just like to say that my own clerk lives on my street as a neighbor and a friend and a very honorable person. And so that's not the kind of people I was talking about. But the question I had for you here is that state statute, specifically 6.84, directs that absentee ballot processes are mandatory and says ballots cast in contravention of the procedures specified in those provisions may not be counted. In 6.87, it says, if a certificate is missing the address of a witness, the ballot may not be counted. I'm trying to understand why you even have to ask for someone, to give you guidance on that. It would seem to be totally clear. And if somebody gave me guidance and said, well, this is the law, but yeah, you don't have to do that. That'd be like if I asked some bureaucrat if I could rob the bank and they said, oh yeah, go ahead and do that. That would be fine.
Yeah, I mean, all I can tell you is that, the judge today said that there was no violation of the Wisconsin election laws in this election. This was the judge chosen by Justice Rogensack from Racine County. And, that objection was not raised 4 years ago by the Trump campaign. It was still in effect then. So I don't know what to tell you other than that's a policy.
But my question was, why do clerks even need guidance on that?
All the election issues. I wish you had Megan Wolf here to answer your guys' questions, and you declined to do that. I guess I'm going to have to be Megan Wolf for I don't know how long, but I wish you'd invited more election professionals from WEC and other places to answer your questions now that we're at this point. I'm sorry, someone's talking.
Guys, I forgot to touch the button, my fault.
Okay.
For clarification, so every absentee certificate envelope has to have a signature from the clerk that says that they got an ID, that they saw an ID, or they're exempt.
Right.
Were ballots in Madison counted without that signature, without those initials?
The initials? Not actually. I don't think so in Madison, but
I would beg to differ on that. I want you to think about that before you answer.
Can I speak, or are we? Can I speak? So there, but to your point, Representative, there were many other communities. I mean, we have 56 communities in Dane County. There were envelopes without initials on them from the clerk. And they were not drawn down. If that were the case, we did not draw down for clerk error. We did draw down many ballots that shouldn't have been counted. There were many that did not have the witness signature. I mean, the witness. Well,
so you just told. Well, hold on. You just told me that you have a fair election, but you're telling me that you counted ballots that were not legally acceptable because they did not have the initial on. So I just want to make sure that we're clear. You counted ballots in Dane County that did not have the initials, which are part of the process to guarantee that the vote will be counted.
They were not drawn down, actually, is what you mean to say, Representative. So, what we did 4 years ago and what we did this time is we do not penalize voters for clerk error. The voter did nothing wrong, their vote is not tossed. If the voter does something wrong, it can be. In the case of not signing the envelope, in the case of not having a witness address or a witness signature, I mean, on that, I was often the 2-1 vote, myself and the Republican member of the board of canvass saying, no, you have to be able to refer the item to the DA. And if you don't have enough information, how do you do that? It's the same with nomination papers. I totally agree with you guys when you added the, print your name. Because how am I supposed to refer anything if I don't even know who that is, right? So in that sense, you need to be able to report voter fraud to the district attorney's office. If it's the clerk, and you can see it's been issued by the clerk, the DA can go to the clerk's office. In Madison, what they pre-print, the initials on it. So I'm trying to remember exactly if there were any that didn't, but that kept that from happening. So in Madison, but it was something that happened in many other communities, I'm sure across the whole entire state. We only looked at Madison, Dane, and Milwaukee.
All right, very good. Thank you for your testimony today. I appreciate it, and thanks for waiting until the end. Somebody always has to be the last one, and it made more sense to have you listen to everybody's testimony first. So thank you for that patience. And it is 5:38. We've listened to all of our testimony. This was our first hearing. I do believe additional hearings are necessary on these issues. But with that, it is Friday and past 5 o'clock, so I think we've worked hard today. And with that, I'd like to conclude.
This program is a production of Wisconsin Eye, an independent, nonpartisan,
Well, what an interesting day. At least they were like hearing him out and stuff, because all the the people who didn't agree with the testimonies and whatever, they didn't want to see the evidence, they didn't want to see the proof. At least they all left in the beginning. They didn't stick around to cause problems like Cynthia Johnson in Michigan, where they just decide to scream over the testimonies that they don't want to hear or they don't want to be heard. So at least it was like decent conversation. They let them speak for the most part. I didn't have to do a whole bunch of volume work. We could pretty much hear everyone. Some people were like totally screaming, but I did my best to try and keep the volume level as much as I could. I don't know what to say about the censoring thing. I know a lot of people don't understand the way that it works. 'Cause, if we're being censored, how are we live right now? Well, it's a sneaky kind of censoring, kind of like the notifications, right? There's now over 31,000 people subscribed. So you would think every time we go live, all 31,000 would get notified. That's not how it works. For some reason, they have an algorithm for the notifications. That doesn't even make sense. People want to be notified. That's why they subscribe. But that's not how it works. Just the likes. Sometimes there's people in the chat who say, well, I've liked this video 2 or 3 times because they keep taking my like away. Would you go away? Go. So yeah, they will take the likes away and throttle engagement. And so another thing that they do is they will bury the video. So we'll be live and you'll scroll through your notifications and you may even see my profile picture, but there won't be a notification bubble next to it, like a blue dot or a red dot or whatever it is. It won't be there. It won't say that I'm live. You'll have to actually go all the way into my channel to my profile to see that I'm live, because they're hiding it. They're just sneaky. They're just sneaky. So when I'm saying we're being censored, that's what I mean. They're burying the channel. They're making it so people can't find it. But at the same time, you'll see the numbers just start dropping like crazy, like in a very unnatural way. It's normal to have fluctuation, 20, 30, 40, 50 people, depending on how many are in the chat. But when you start seeing like 100 people walk away all at once, or 200 people walk away all at once, it's because we're being censored. The way to get around it is to shut it down and then to go live again. As you probably noticed, and I seen people say it when we were live for the very first time today, you notice that there's no blue AP banner underneath the video stating, you know, who won and blah, 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 blah. That's because of how I titled the video. They're not really aware of what this is, because it all has to do with the information that you give to the video itself, right? Everything I type is being tracked. If I don't put specific stuff on here, they don't realize the subject matter. Like, there's a lot of sneaky stuff that goes into this, and it's unfortunate, you know. Like, we're just trying to see what's happening, but they really don't want us to see what's happening. So that's what's going on. It's unfortunate, but it's the game we got to play until they decide to delete me and remove me permanently, which everybody should join D-Live. I see that like 50 people joined today, which is pretty awesome. I also seen that they cut the live feed to it, which I have to investigate in that. I don't know if D-Live cut the feed, or if like I had a drop in the internet, because it's pouring rain right now before we get 3 inches of snow in the next 3 hours, 2 hours. Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but D-Live is going to be, I mean, we go D-Live and YouTube. Well, I'm on D-Live right now. So D-Live and YouTube's the main two that I stream at the same time. When they cut us from YouTube, it's going to be D-Live and Twitch. And that's the best right now. I know everybody's like, oh, go to Rumble. Rumble doesn't do live. If we're, you know, the whole point's to be live. I'm not telling you guys what the truth is. I'm not telling you guys what to believe. I'm not telling you guys what to think. I'm not telling you guys what to feel. I'm just putting it on the screen, and it's up to you to decide what, you know, to make of what you're seeing. And I won't upload stuff. I won't write out articles and stuff. I could. I mean, I have a degree. I know how to write up, you know, professional documents and stuff. That's my interpretation. That's not what I'm doing. I'm here live showing what's happening as it's happening, not my interpretation, not how I think or feel or say or do or, you know, whatever. I'm just showing what's happening. And so we're going to keep running on here and playing their goofy games, you know, until they permanently delete me, because this is where all the people are, unfortunately. They're all, you know, here on communism tube, and it's because every phone sold in America comes with YouTube on it. So this is where the people are, unfortunately, until they censor themselves out of existence. So that being said, I know this is really short, 13 minutes we've been live. I wanted to make sure we got the end of it. It's really unfortunate that we're being censored. This is what we got to do. I really appreciate all of you for being here. I really appreciate everyone that made donations, everybody that joined the Hooligan family through the membership program, everyone that purchased merch. I bought some merch today. I spent like $80 on merch because I dig it. I'm proud to wear it. I think it's awesome. So big shout out to everyone, you know, who did all that, and everyone for viewing. I wouldn't be able to do this without you. You guys are keeping the channel going. You are keeping us running and moving forward, making progress. I really appreciate all of you for being here. I imagine we will be going live a little bit later. Go get some food, take a break. I assume there's going to be protests and stuff going on. Maybe the rain will deter people, but I'm not sure where all it's raining in the country right now. Hopefully the snow's not so bad it knocks my power out. We will see. Either way, for now, stand tall, shine bright. Thank you guys for being here. That's a wrap.